GamingBolt presents 14 questions you probably don't ask yourself before buying the next hyped up game. When the hype train is running on full steam, it can be hard to keep perspective. Games you might have never bought suddenly seem like must-buys. Perhaps the promises made by the devs are glorious. Maybe the trailer is set to a dubstep remix of your favorite song. Maybe the game promises to be all things to all gamers. Whatever the cause of the hype, chances are the game won't deliver. It may not even be the devs or the marketers' faults. Maybe our own imaginations are to blame for concocting a fantasy that could never ever live up to. Regardless, when you're deciding whether or not a hyped up game is right for you, it's good to step back and ask yourself a few questions. Do I need it day one? Failing to ask this question has been the downfall of many a gamer. They've seen the trailers, they've read the interviews. They know that in a year when someone sees them wearing pre-order bonus armor, they'll feel like a true badass. Trouble is, if you buy the game before anyone has played it, nobody can warn you that the hype isn't real. So ask yourself if you really need the game day one. For some of us, there are games like that, the sequels to our favorite games that we're going to play regardless of what reviewers say. But for many new games coming to the market, there's no reason to buy it before the reviews come out. If you don't have to have it day one, maybe hold off for a bit and find out if it's truly worth the money. What else is in the release window? When we get excited about a game, it can be hard to remember that the game doesn't exist in a vacuum. A game you're equally excited about may be coming out a week or a month later than this game that the industry is currently going crazy over. So before you're lured in by a promise of sweet pre-order bonuses, check out what else is coming out at the same time and consider how you want to spend your money. Is the game a sequel or a new IP? Hype can occur for different reasons. Maybe the game everyone is talking about is a brand new IP and promises to break the molds, or maybe the game is a reimagining of an established formula. Both have their own sets of traps. While they may not be as original, sequels have an established formula to work from, and chances are if you enjoyed game number 1, then you'll also enjoy game number 2. With a new IP, it can be more difficult to discern quality. A marketing team can make any crappy game look awesome in a trailer, so embracing a new IP is something of a leap of faith. Do the devs have a proven track record? This may not be at the forefront of your purchasing decisions, but it's worth looking into. Even at established companies, dev teams are shuffled around between projects. The team whose work you loved may not be working on the sequel to the game they made a few years ago. On the other hand, an established team may be setting out on their own and might look like a new company when they're bringing years of experience to the table. When you're thinking of buying a game, look into the team behind it and if they've worked on anything else you've liked. Have you ever been seduced by the trailer's baseline? We've bought more than one game based on the quality of music in its trailer. Borderlands 2, Destiny the Taken King, Battlefield 1. All were games we weren't sure about until we heard the sweet sound of the bass and was helpless but to press pre-order. You too can fall prey to this marketing technique, and I advise that any be wary when they hit play on a trailer. A dubstep overlay to an action scene is a hard thing to say no to. How omnipresent is the marketing for the game? I'm generally wary of over-marketed games. Really, all the extent of marketing campaigns indicates is how big the budget is, but I can't help but feel like massive, overarching marketing systems are shrouds for a game's inadequacies. I'd like to believe that games should stand on their own merit, and I think that sometimes they do, but only if we let them. So if you can't buy shampoo without unlocking a custom camo, maybe take a step back. Are you excited about set pieces or gameplay? One of the problems with awesome trailers is that it can be hard to tell what is gameplay and what is a scripted event. It's worth looking into because the kind of experiences you're looking for may not be what's portrayed in the video. Many games have visually stunning set-piece moments that feature catastrophic destruction and an extraordinary series of events. But if your goal is to play those crazy moments rather than watch them, then the trailer may be leading you on. Is the game a complete experience or just enough pieces to put together a trailer? This is an especially prevalent problem with open-ended exploration games. More than one survival game features a trailer with sprawling vistas, some walking, a little action, and a little crafting. Trouble is, the full games don't feature any more than that, and you're expected to turn something that was interesting for a few minutes into hours upon hours of gameplay. Be careful where games seem short on content, even if they feature a well-crafted trailer. Is the publisher already advertising DLC? It seems like every year the window between launch and the first DLC shrinks, but sometimes the window seems to stretch into some fourth-dimensional space where DLC is being shoveled down your throat before the game is even released. For me, that's a huge red flag that says, if you play this game, you'll realize that you don't want the Season Pass, so go ahead and buy the Season Pass first. No matter how good a game seems, there's no reason to start buying content locked behind a paywall or time gate before you've even had any time with the game. Is the game in your favorite genre? The industry might be pumped about a new game coming out, but that doesn't mean that you have to be. We all have our wheelhouses, the types of games we return to year after year. If everyone is going crazy over the next shooter and you like puzzle games, don't let your friends make you buy a game you're not going to enjoy just because it's the next big thing. Are you hyped, or is the industry? It's one thing for you to be pumped about an upcoming release. It's another thing entirely for the industry to be excited. Like any industry, the world of gaming is subject to all of the psychological effects of herd mentalities. Once someone says yes, it becomes harder and harder to say no. If you're genuinely excited about a game, that's awesome, and you should support the devs you love, but you aren't obligated to be on board just because the rest of the industry is. How close to a red box are you? A lot of anxieties around whether or not to buy a game can, as one might expect, be alleviated by actually playing the game. Redbox can help you with that. Whenever I'm not sure if I really want a game, I pick it up for a few days. If I can't bear to stop, then I know it's worth buying. If I can return the copy without too much pain, then I know I gave the game an honest chance, and I can move on with the games I really love. Is the game really being hyped, or is it part of a larger cultural moment? Star Wars, anyone? I think pretty much everyone knew Star Wars Battlefront was going to be a disappointment, and yet so many of us bought it anyway. I even rented it from Redbox, thought it was lackluster, and then still bought a copy. When the whole world, even beyond the sphere of gaming, is excited about something, and that something is something you love, like Star Wars, it can be really hard to say no. But a few months down the road, you'll see the game for what it really is, and maybe it will have been worth that brief moment of participation in a cultural moment, but it's more likely you'll just wish you had your $60 back. Is there an indie game out there that's perfect for you but doesn't have a massive marketing budget? Hype is typically propelled by massive marketing campaigns, which necessitates the economic resources of large publishers. Maybe, even as corporations pour millions into ads and trailers and promos, there's a team of devs working in their off hours to bring you just the game you need. AAA titles are great fun and often beautifully crafted games, but there's also room for the smaller titles that take an artful look at a concept or mechanic. So, before you buy the next AAA title, consider if there's an indie out there just for you. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.